Serena Mitchell, CGTN, New York.
Exactly. Keep your customers happy and the doors open. For more insight into AI and fashion, we're joined by Joshua Vermillion. He is an associate professor at the School of Architecture at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. Thanks very much for coming on. We certainly appreciate it. Let's talk about the importance of this season's shows. I lived in Manhattan for a few years, and man, there's such a buzz over the city once that happens. The whole avenues are just roll into this. What is the overall mood, and how important is it?
Well, I'm not in New York City right now, but AI has been on everybody's mind for the last year and a half. Fashion design is no different. If you talk to individual designers and brands, you'll get an array of responses to AI. Some are skeptics. There's a lot of optimism, actually. But in general, the trend is everybody is curious. Everybody's sort of asking themselves the same general question: how does this help us? And so it's kind of an interesting time. There's a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. Everybody's sort of trying new things right now.
You know, I agree with what you say. There are a lot of skeptics, and if you had a chance to listen to our show, I'm sure you heard the one designer sort of bristle when asked about using AI in designs. Well, I simply don't do it. Do you think that's true, or do you think people do want to kind of see, they have an idea and they want to see how it develops and then build on that?
I can't speculate on any individuals' motives, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are fascinated by this. And again, it kind of depends on who you are. I mean, I think some folks have completely embraced this and gone all in. They see it as a way to help them brainstorm, to augment their imaginations, their creativity, to empower them to design. Maybe it's about building in some efficiencies or minimizing waste when it comes to that long process between ideation and design and then commercialization. Others, I think, are sort of interested in how it might help augment the experience for consumers.
Right.
And then, of course, AI is actually largely built on prediction. It predicts the next word to write essays or the next pixel to create images based off of the patterns it can see from these enormous data sets. And so, maybe there's a way to even query them to help forecast and predict trends.
That's interesting. I'd like you to pick up on that and explain for our audience a bit how designers are using generative artificial intelligence. Walk us through that whole process.
Indeed. So there's lots of different ways, and there's no one-size-fits-all or monolith AI, but there's a variety of models, and oftentimes referring to large language models. Basically, can interpret our words, refer to its latent space, and then begin to generate things. And oftentimes I find that when you're trying to use these tools in the design process, it helps when you're actually trying to create and riff off of new ideas. The fact that it's a generative tool and that it can surprise you with its results is something to take into account here. And so I think a lot of folks have genuine questions about how useful is it in this process, and at what stages in the process can it actually augment or enhance the designer or creatives, right?
Sure.
I think a lot of us are trying to come to terms with these technologies creatively. So that's still a question, and an open question at that. How does it help us make better things or design better things, including garments and fashion?
Joshua, I can only speak from my industry. I know a lot of journalists are concerned. Could their jobs be going away? Can people rely on AI to type up scripts? How concerned is the industry about AI adversely affecting their creative process, or perhaps even being say, well, that's a wonderful design, but that you didn't come up with that entirely on your own?
Fantastic question. So I talk to a lot of creatives from a lot of different disciplines, including fashion. None of them no one I talk to is genuinely concerned about losing their job, at least not any time soon. I think as people begin to use these technologies and learn more about how they work, they start to understand that there are limitations to these tools, and they are, in fact, just that, tools. It depends really largely on how we use them, just like any piece of technology. The fashion industry is always sort of trying to pick up on technologies. They see themselves as sort of the vanguard of ideas and trends. And so AI is no different. I think you'll start to see this more and more as people, ask themselves, how does this augment the things I want to do. But I don't see really talented designers concerned that they're going to be replaced anytime soon.
I love what you said about predicting, future designs or future trends. I know you're not in New York and you're certainly not in London, but let me get you to look ahead, if you will, to London and other global shows. What should people be on the lookout for?
Well, it's been this way for a few years. I mean, you look for alternative materials, different sort of ways of manufacturing garments, using digital technologies like advanced manufacturing, 3D printing, for example. We'll start to, I think, continue to see, rather than just sort of wearable technologies, actually trying to integrate technologies into garments, whether that's to make them responsive or for aesthetics or to collect biometric data. For us. And then, again, I think about the sort of immersive experiences that everybody's wanting to see more and more of, and particularly when it comes to delivering garments to consumers. The big buzzword lately has been phygital. Kind of interesting to sort of think about how do we use physical and digital experiences together. AI is just another piece, I think, in that puzzle.
Great. Joshua Vermillion, great stuff. We really appreciate you coming on, putting it in focus for us. Thank you again.
Anytime. Thanks, Sean.
Well, stay with us, everyone. Still to come on Global Business. Mexico Art Week in its 20th year.